Hey there, Odooers. Good afternoon, and welcome to today's session, Milestone Billing and Progress Billing. I'm Hans, your business advisor and moderator for this afternoon session. I just want to quickly tell you guys about how we're going to conduct today's webinar. So first off, we're going to start off with what is Odoo? We'll introduce you to this beautiful system that helps out businesses, and then we'll showcase the main discussion, and we're going to talk about what milestone billing and progress billing would be. And then we're going to showcase a company that you can relate to and Odoo solutions for those bottlenecks. And then we'll conclude with a Q&A. So what is Odoo? Odoo is simply an enterprise resource planning platform. It's an ERP system, a system used for day-to-day operations and managing a business. It's an all-in-one management software that helps businesses manage their day-to-day operations, aligning each department's communications with each other, streamlining businesses, and helping them to be more efficient. So currently, Odoo is situated in 19 offices worldwide, a 20th coming in Manila, Philippines. So stay tuned on that. And we are currently serving over 15 million plus happy users or happy customers. These guys are utilizing Odoo systems for their day-to-day businesses. I just want to quickly show you guys the diversity that we have within our businesses in the local scene in the Philippines. As you can see, there's a multitude of businesses that are using Odoo for their day-to-day processes, and they have become more efficient in terms of managing everything from, let's say, managing their clients to creating sales orders to managing their inventory, managing manufacturing, up until accounting. So how can Odoo help your business? We try to move away from standalone softwares that only answer a certain function within a business. Odoo wants to be your all-in-one solution, your single source of truth. It wants to streamline one process with another, helping to communicate with your users on a day-to-day basis more efficiently. And these are some of the set of applications that you can utilize as a user within the database. May it be creating a sales application function or a website application function, your operations application function, and utilizing our Odoo Studio to customize it towards what you might need. Now let's talk more about the main topic for this afternoon. One of the great bottlenecks of construction businesses is that of billing. There's siloed data between your head office and your on-site management, and delays in revenue recognition for projects that are being done right now. There's also inconsistent billing logic for delayed payments that are not triggering the next step for projects. So there is that traditional billing in construction, often a bottleneck in administrations because it often occurs too late. And this translates to the capital intensive gap. There's a work to cash challenge, meaning to say that some construction firms face a liquidity crunch when payments for labor and specialized materials are delayed, and there's a waiting game for 30, 60, or even 90 days of payment terms. Without real-time billing, there's company risk and cash flow exhaustion during peak project phases. So how does Odoo break those silos? We can create sales modules that define contract terms and set invoicing rules. You have your project modules that dictate tracking, that track site tasks and completion logs that automatically update your billing, and there are accounting applications that can sync recognized revenue with physical progress that translate to BIR compliant reporting. We want to be your single source of truth, as mentioned earlier, and we want to be your unified backend. Milestone billing that is fixed deliverables in terms of project phases where payment is triggered by a specific event or completion milestone, and may it be progress billing that is managed via percentage. These are designed for multi-month or multi-year contracts where billing reflects the percentage of work finished during a period. The suggested apps that we have for you today would be that of utilizing the CRM, your sales, your documents, your project, and your accounting. And here is an example of a company that is in construction that might be relevant to you guys. They specialize in bungalows, private bungalows, build that is unmatched with their energy, and then create sanctuaries for you guys. So let's proceed with the database. Now here is the user interface that you can see within Odoo. Of course, the first thing that Sigasig heritage builders would want to monitor would be their clients. People that might inquire via online, through their emails, through their calls and texts, and what better way to manage that through a CRM application that is built within the system. So let's open the CRM function. Give me a sec as I log into my system. We're experiencing some technical difficulties in terms of managing the database. I hope everybody's relaxed at their seats right now, just waiting for the database to be triggered. So give me a sec while I prep that for you guys. Okay, give me a sec as I reset my password for the database. Let's keep in mind that we are still on the call and we'll be able to fix this in a bit. All right, we'll come back in a minute just to fix the bug, and we'll make sure to keep you guys stay tuned. And we're back, everybody. We were able to fix the problem right there and there. And just wanted to get back into the database real quick, right? So again, we have Sigasig Heritage Builders as your sample company. And as I mentioned earlier, we want to monitor our clients, those that come from online, those that come from our emails. May it be manually tracked by the people that want to ask for projects within Sigasig Heritage Builders. So CRM, the app that is built within the system, is something that we can utilize. Now let's open that up and see what type of opportunities are awaiting us for us to build this project for them. As you can see, this is what we call the Kanban view that is visible in all other applications as well within the database. But let's focus on CRM for the meantime. As you can see, there are qualified projects, there are ongoing projects, and there are already finished projects within the database. But let's look at Miggy Goles, an opportunity that's new. Things that you can see within the account is you'll be able to monitor and see the name of Miggy, the email that is logged, and the phone number that's registered when it goes into your email inbox. Things that they can note within notes within the account is something that you can also be able to see and generate. So let's say, for example, they're requesting for a project that is bungalow. We'll be able to be notified by that within the account. And then as project managers, what you would want to see is the creation of a quotation within the database. So let's go ahead and create a new quotation for Miggy Goles. What you can see is that Odoo recognized that creating a quotation, you don't need to jump from CRM to go to the sales application to create that. You can simply click on create new quotation, signify customer Miggy Goles that is registered within the system. As long as you're able to create quotation templates within the database, you can select from an array of quotation templates that you made. So let's say they want to do foundation and slab pouring, or let's say they're in the phase of creating roofing and installation, or tiling and finishing. You can select from an array of quotation templates that you've created, and we can proceed with foundation and slab pouring. As you can see, other things that you'll be able to see within quotation are setting up an expiration for the quotation, a set of price lists that are available, and payment terms. May it be immediate, 15 days, 30 days, 90 days, or as follows. But let's proceed with using immediate payment terms. Within the product lines of your quotation templates, you can see the service that is being endorsed. So foundation and slab pouring with the quantity that is to be delivered and the unit price that is indicated, along with a localized representation of the taxes, which is 12% VAT. You also have your Portland cement, which is what is going to be utilized for this type of service. Now, these representations within these product lines indicate what is going to be for our milestone billing and for our progress billing. Now, they are consolidated in one sales order for you guys. Now, let's go ahead and save this and then confirm the sales order. Let's say we've already communicated with Miggy and that he's aligned that we're going to start with foundation and slab pouring. Once you're able to confirm the quotation, it will automatically be sent to Miggy, and once we're able to send it, it will automatically trigger what we call the smart buttons here on top. This trigger is to signify the next step of the project phases, and this will in turn send a trigger to your projects team that will be managing the on-site performance of these projects. Now let's go ahead and proceed to click on those smart buttons up top. What you'll be able to see is that we've already configured the 3 phases within the foundation and slab pouring. Now, what you can also see is that we can indicate a top menu that will be able to monitor the tasks at hand, the milestones that go with it, and the dashboard. But let's focus on tasks and milestones for the meantime. Let's say the first phase within the foundation and slab pouring has been utilized. Let's say this is checked out and finished. Within the description, a project manager can indicate that, save it, mark the progress as done. Now, this phase will now automatically signify a milestone that has been reached. As you can see, phase 1 is green-lit on the system. Now, if you want to make sure that this phase is reached, you just have to click on the check sign. And once you go back to the sales order, what that does is trigger a delivered quantity. Now, there are 3 tasks within this project, signifying a 33% of a milestone to be delivered on each milestone. As you can see, the delivered quantity is 33% of what is to be done within this project. And now, that is for your milestone billing. For our progress billing example, what you'll see is Portland Cement. What you will do is manually log the delivered quantity of the cement that will be utilized for this service. Let's say for the first phase, what has been utilized is 100. It will automatically blue light the that portion of the product line. And once you save it, and let's say you'd like to send an invoice for this phase of the project to the client, you may do so by clicking on Create Invoice, clicking on Regular Invoice. It will then automatically create a draft that will signify the first phase that has been completed for your foundation and slab pouring and your Portland cement. What you'll see on this draft is also the journal entry that's automatically logged within the system that is recognized within Odoo, and the total amount that's been generated. Once you click Confirm, this will signify an invoice that will be sent to the client as well. As you can see, there are smart buttons on top again that signify the next steps, monitoring your sales order and what will be your invoice. As you can see within sales order, if we click back, you'll see 3 smart buttons up top now. So you have your projects, your milestone monitoring, and your invoices that generated for the accounting department to validate. So let's go back again to invoices and pay. Your accounting will be able to validate the next steps within the smart buttons to signify that this phase has been completed and that the payment by the customer has been completed as well. So let's go back to the sales order and look at the smart buttons within projects. And let's go back to projects and then mark the second phase as done. This again will signify a green lit on the second phase of the milestone. And we can mark that as project managers as reached. And in sales order, it will signify the next step for the delivered quantity. Let's say another set of 50 bags of cement has been utilized. So that's a total of 150 now. Once you create an invoice and click on Regular Invoice and create a draft, as you may notice, the quantity that has been delivered is 34%, recognizing phase 2 of the project, and 50 bags of cement that is utilized for the second phase. Once you click Confirm, proceeding with what was done earlier and validating the payment for this second phase, when you go back to the sales order, it will generate that 67% of the delivered quantity and 150 bags of cement has been utilized. Now, let's finish this project and mark phase 3 as done. Mark it on milestone as done. When you go back to sales order, delivered quantity for our foundation and slab pouring has been utilized fully. And now let's say all bags of cement have been used up. When you create invoice again, regular invoice, and automatically the draft again will signify the remaining quantities for both product lines that are indicated. Once you click Confirm and proceed with the next steps that we did earlier and go back to sales order, everything has been delivered. Within your smart buttons, you'll see that there's 1 project and 3 tasks, 3 milestones, and now you have 3 invoices that have been recorded. And that's all only done within 1 application through your CRM. Now, what does that do with the remaining applications outside of CRM? Now, let's go out of that. As you can see, if you look at the sales application, you'll see that the sales orders have been triggered within the sales app as well. So those smart buttons trigger the next steps for these applications, and you don't have to jump out from one app to another. But for example, your project manager will be able to see it within the projects app as well. So as you can see, there's a Kanban view for projects app that you'll be able to monitor all the sales orders that need to be done within specific projects for these sales orders. So let's move this from to do to in progress to finished. And that's how you'll be able to monitor your clients up until the creation of a sales order, the differences between milestone billing and progress billing, how automation is done within Milestone, although progress billing is done manually, but it creates both signified set of quantities delivered for the invoices to be automatically generated for your accounting to validate. And you'll be able to manage projects within the project application as well. So as you can see, the seamless process between all these applications are done in one single database as well. One thing that you'll be able to note as well within the projects application was the one thing that we wanted to showcase and highlight within the end of this process. As mentioned earlier, when you go into your projects, let's say sales order number 5. As you can see, the top menus above, we showcased tasks, milestones, and your dashboard. Now within those tasks, let's say phase 3 of the task, what you'll see within the project phase of this is that we automatically generated phase 3 for milestone, but we can also assign a specific project manager for this part of the project. As long as they are users within the database, we can definitely generate that. And the one thing that we wanted to highlight would be dashboards. On top menu of dashboards, what you'll be able to find there are all the tasks that are generated within a single project. The sales orders that have been generated, the sales order items that have been generated, and the invoices that have been generated as well. You can also see the profitability below for the services and the total revenue that has been delivered for these projects. You can actually filter other things within the top menu, which is very interesting because it will suit whatever needs that you may have. And one thing that construction companies would also like to see, not just the process from managing their clients up to sales orders and managing projects on site and being able to communicate well with each other, but you also have your weekly, your monthly, and your quarterly reports. And that's where the dashboards app comes in. This is a consolidated view of the data that you input within the system. So you have to make sure that the system is logged with truthful data. So it will depend on what you input into the database. As you can see, there's a consolidation of quotations, the orders, the total revenue that's been generated for the company, and average orders based for clients that come in. You can also look at your top services or your top products that are being utilized within the system, and you can see it by revenue based on the dashboards. You can also filter it within 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, depends on what you would like to see. So there you have it. We were able to show you guys the whole process, not just with milestone billing and progress billing, but how seamless it is within the Odoo database. That answers Sigasig Heritage Builders, automated milestone triggering, real-time progress tracking, impact on seamless department alignment in terms of communication between applications, your unified sales reporting and dashboards. And not only is that all, but you can also have mobile-ready approvals and billing, because you can utilize Odoo within not just applications within your phones and your laptops, but also within your web browsers, wherever you go. So there you have it. We were able to answer milestone billing and progress billing. And now we will conclude with a short Q&A. So how does Odoo Construction integrate with accounting and invoicing apps? That's a great question to have. Accounting, as you can see earlier, we were able to generate journal entries for when you log sales orders within the database for these projects. They'll be able to monitor the invoices that have been generated through the sales applications once project phases are done. We were able to utilize those functions, and that will automatically be generated within the accounting application. For more details on that, you'll be able to find my email as well at the end of this session so that we can get into more of that discussion. Is it possible to generate invoices automatically when a milestone is reached? Yes. As you saw earlier, once a milestone is reached and triggered, we can create an invoice directly from the sales app that will be delivered to the client. Can we track project costs in real time along with revenue recognition? You are able to see that within the dashboards application, but also within the dashboard top menu of our project phases. How can we use Odoo to forecast cash flow for multi-year construction projects? Well, in the dashboards app, you can filter out this process and then create a report that can answer that and you can review within your team. So these are things that we can discuss with you guys further. We don't want to spoil you with too much on this webinar showcase right now, but definitely we'll be able to get into more of that discussion in the next parts of our sessions. Can we restrict app usage to specific department? Let's say sales managers only using the sales application. Yes. Let me show you a little bit on user management within settings. So within settings, you'll be able to manage the users and the limitations that you have within these users. So let's go to manage users and look at one user, namely me. You can see that not only will we be able to manage the role if they are going to be an administrator or a user, but let's say, for example, within sales, you don't want them to see everything and you only want them to see specific documents that they logged into the system. You can use that, but you can do that by editing out the user access rights within settings and clicking on save. Once that is done, that specific user will only be able to utilize and see his own documents on the system. So this is one of the features that you can see within settings of Odoo that are very easy to use. Other things that you'll be able to see here is setting up of different languages. I understand that as we're in the Philippines, we don't usually just use English as our only mode of language, but we can also utilize Tagalog. So let's add a language for that. Click on add. This will signify that you can switch from English to Tagalog within the database. And that will be easier for some departments that might be comfortable with using the Tagalog language to communicate with each other and to use as a reading tool for the apps that are within the database. So how does a project order for projects flow through sales order invoice seamlessly? As you can see earlier, when you generate a sales order, there are smart buttons on top that trigger a project order. As long as you're able to configure it properly within the database, you'll be able to see that it will trigger next steps for the departments that might need to utilize the next step within the project. So once you, for example, create a sales order to generate a project for, as what we mentioned earlier, foundation and slab pouring, it will generate a project trigger that will then in turn be sent to the projects team to manage on site. So this view can be utilized by an administrator to see everything within the database. But let's say you set a user for projects app, they'll be able to see the project real time via the Kanban view of the projects app as well, as shown earlier. So that's how Odoo is able to utilize a seamless flow from your head office to your on-site projects. Okay, and that's about the time we have for this webinar. So sorry again for the small problem that we had earlier, but we were able to manage to get through the discussion. Make sure to send us a message or me through jtro@odoo.com. You can scan the link on the cameras on the screen that is shown to you guys. And if you want further discussions with me later on, just make sure to send me a message, and my team as well. See you guys on the next webinar discussion. Maraming salamat.